Welcome to the Omnex webinar, Integrated Product Development of ISO 26262, ASPICE, and Cybersecurity using a software platform. Folks, join me, Chad Kaimel, and Nikhil Unikrishnan for this 1 hour presentation on, I think, a very important topic today. So let us then continue on. Everybody hearing me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. So folks, I know many of you attended Omnex webinars, but we also find that there are people who haven't heard about who we are. So here's a brief introduction to us. We're headquartered in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We have offices globally. We have 16 offices worldwide. And especially because this is a very automotive topic, let me just mention, we are everywhere Automotive is. We have 700 employees worldwide. And some of the things we're proud of is really serving on many of the committees that make up the standards that we are talking about today, from what is the grandfather of IATF 16949, QS 9000, to all the different core tools. This is a look at our global offices and the target markets. You know, I'll just have to remember that this topic of today, we should not call EV, AV specifically, though as Omnex, there's a significant number of projects we're constantly doing in this domain. But there are many products which are strictly not EV, AV, electric, or autonomous that use functional safety, ASPICE, or cybersecurity. Really, the topic for today is really centered around those types of topics. All right. Just a look at what we do. We do everything from a gap analysis to training to implementation and coaching. And by the way, very important, I did not mention this on the top of the presentation. You saw the logo for Safe, Secure, Sustain. We have been doing audits and assessments and confirmation reviews as Omnex, but very soon we will be announcing our Safe, Secure, Sustain audit body that focuses on functional safety, cybersecurity, ASPICE, zero carbon, and sustainability. We feel these topics go together, and this is what we do. And also, we'll be adding cybersecurity testing to the mix. Quick look at who I am. I'm the CTO of Omnex. I've been in the automotive industry, having come from General Motors, and really, I sort of age myself when I say I've been in the industry for over 40 years. So you can just take a look. I'm very active in writing standards. I'm on the functional safety committees. Maybe I'm much more active in the ISO 9001, 14001. Right now, I'm on the Greenhouse Gases Committee, very much on the carbon neutrality, but you can see I'm an ASPICE principal assessor. I do lots of audits on software. I do also, of course, functional safety and cybersecurity. One of my partners in crime is Nikhil, but Nikhil does not just assessments and audits, he project manages and gets his hands quite dirty in all these implementations of both functional safety, cybersecurity. So on the Omnex side, we do a lot of implementations of Safe, Secure, Sustain, does the audits and assessments. So this is the topic for today. When you leave this webinar, I'd like you to have picked up a couple of new ideas and thoughts. One is what we're calling the design supply chain, and that this the design supply chain becomes very important in what we call a coupled design. So far in the automotive industry, we have had uncoupled design. Now we're moving to the paradigm of coupled design, and where suddenly the supply chain becomes important. And of course, the V model becomes essential that we integrate that into a new product development process. So this is the agenda for today. We'll start talking about this design shift. Again, I shouldn't be saying electric and autonomous vehicles. There are many of you doing functional safety and cybersecurity and ASPICE, maybe who don't think of yourself as part of the EV, AV industry. It is for really all of you who are working in this area. All right. And then we plan to talk about this coupled design. We'll talk about how this EV/AV platform from Omnex satisfies this highly coupled design with 5 different topics that we hit. Planning. Second is requirements, connectivity of tools, the supply chain, the connectivity in the supply chain, and then documentation, which of course is very important for all of us. And that is the plan for today. Folks, feel free to start asking questions if you'd like. And we're happy to answer your questions. In short, I think we'll see. I think we're okay sharing slides for the right reasons, okay? So send us who your information is, and then, we are interested in propagating these ideas within the industry. I'm answering a question. That's why I was just saying that. So here you see here that we are in this uncoupled. I'll have another picture again explaining this uncoupled, what this uncoupled means, meaning each of these, the subsystem, the hardware and the software, the circuit board supplier or the component supplier could produce a design without a lot of connectivity with the overall system, okay? And we're saying it is moving from this uncoupled into a coupled. Some of the coupled areas is requirements, where there's a flow down of requirements from the system, or you can say allocation of requirements in the system to the subsystem to the hardware and software. Not just in functional safety or cybersecurity from the safety concept or the cybersecurity concept. If you follow ASPICE, there is this idea of the system flow down, especially in PAM 4.0, okay? NPD, new product development, is a phased approach from planning to product release. And each OEM and Tier 1 followed their own development process. And what we're saying is that there needs to be a coordination of this phased approach up and down the design supply chain. So this is the design supply chain, that this component for the circuit board is got to be in concert with the hardware supplier into the subsystem, into the system, and the timing is important, and the results, testing results need to come up, and the requirements need to flow down, okay? So that is the idea of this coupled. And of course, we have the safety case and the cybersecurity case. All right, so new product development with this functional safety, product cybersecurity, and ASPICE and SOTIF, which we don't really mention in this presentation, follows a V model. And suddenly, even project reviews and this coordination becomes very critical for success at the customer level. So the new EV/AV standards follow systems engineering, which includes linked requirements between the vehicle and all its major systems, right down to the subsystem and so on. And in our software, you can actually go right down to the semiconductor, which is component 1, to the circuit board that looks at the hardware subsystem that's part of a product subsystem, okay? So functional safety and cybersecurity suddenly become important all the way down to the semiconductor level. All right, this is my observation, having been in the industry actually for more than 40 years, is that I sometimes say, I was in the era when there was no software, and suddenly software entered in. And I'm going to say in semiconductors, I do a lot of work in the semiconductor industry, having written a standard for ISO TS 16949 called the Semiconductor Supplement. So we ended up working with every Silicon Valley, organization, company. And I was doing an assessment for a major semiconductor supplier or audit. And I noticed there was a whole software group that was outside the scope. In fact, that year, I actually wrote papers where the scope of the semiconductor ISO TS 16949 audit needed to include software and how the software is frequently left out of the product development. I sometimes say software is a forgotten stepchild in new product development. So ASPICE brings in new methods to software development, but don't forget, in software ASPICE, you also have the system. This system is a 8.3 in IATF 16949. All I'm saying is there are requirements already in the quality management system or the management system for product development. Your NPD process is working on the system, and ASPICE brings in requirements for the system. Let's go to the first poll. What role do you play in new product development? It'll help me in my delivery. Let's take a minute or so. I do believe it helps you do a multi-select. You can pick multiple ones if you want. And I'll give you about 15, 20 more seconds. And does everybody get to see the results, Miles, or is it just me or the panelists? All right, let's close this poll.
Everyone should see the results when shared.
Okay, so about half, or less than half, are in product development. More than about half of you are in functional safety and ASPICE. So I've got the right audience, and I'm happy for that. The only thinking I have is maybe the same people, almost close to 50. Well, ASPICE functional safety is about 41 and 50. Could be the same people and 32. So anyway, about 20% are other. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Continuing on then. All right. So to help with this coupled design is why we came up with our EV-AV platform. And what you see here is actually what Nikhil is going to show you in the software shortly. Here is actually the V model and the BOM. This happens to be a battery management system, and you will end up seeing the entire BOM with a flow down of requirements. First is, what they call structure in AIG, VDA, FMEA, which is the BOM, and then the flow down the BOM. And then what we said is the plan, the timing plan needs to be there. This would be the very first topic we take after we talk to you about the landing page. And I'll tell you the greatness of this landing page. Then we talk to you about how the requirements cannot be an island. The requirements need a number of things flowing into it. How we have the configuration on this page. Oops, sorry. So here is our, we're in the midst of getting, when the 11.3 release comes out in another month or so, we'll be doing, we have already done our ASPICE level 3 assessment of the software. We'll redo our functional safety assessment, and the cybersecurity module is come out for, is very new. We'll take a we'll do an assessment of that also and have that available for customers to see how well we satisfy these standards. This is our vision, folks. One tool for the functionalities of NPD, new product development, because that's what we're doing today. And ASPICE, functional safety and product cybersecurity, need to integrate into that NPD. Number two, if you're using Jira, many of us do, or you're using another requirements tool, we want to integrate it. We want to integrate with SAP, okay? Integrate with legacy tools, because we don't want you to learn it again. Seamlessly move between the plan, NPD plan, the project plan, the functional safety plan, cybersecurity plan. Access all those deliverables by clicking the plan. So this product lifecycle that is in your plan can be the place where everybody goes to access and work on deliverables. The item definition, HARA, functional safety concept, the TARA, the cybersecurity concept, all populates the overall requirements and also the DFMEA. That's part of our vision. The deliverables are digital, and to reduce the redundancy, so we reduce the amount of work. This is our plan, what we want to share with you today in this presentation. Unfortunately, I can't show you, there's not enough time to show you the AI that we have. Would you believe, and we can set up a separate meeting to show you an ASPICE AI bot. So we can actually do the ASPICE level 1 assessment of our bot. We're going to be working on level 2 and level 3 this year, but we also want to work on functional safety and cybersecurity, okay? And as a first start, we can evaluate what it is, and then after that, we'll turn it into recommendation systems to provide help. There's so much more I want to say, but in the interest of time, Nikhil, why don't we go ahead and show the EVAV landing page?
Sure. So here it is on my screen. So I have it presented on my screen. Hope it's coming through.
Yes, it's coming through well.
All right, good. So this is a view for somebody like a functional safety manager or a project manager, program manager, anybody who is involved with new product development in the organization. And the moment they sign on to the EVAV platform within EWQIMS, they see this view that is totally customizable, by the way. This one example that we have set up for you is showing dashboards right up in the center that is showing the health of the different projects within the organization, which I'll take a minute, a deeper dive into it in a minute. On the left-hand side, you're seeing all of these different widgets. One of the widgets showing the different documents associated with the projects. Active engineering change requests that's being listed right over here. And on the right-hand side, you can see the active concerns. This can be, customer, supplier, or internal issues that can be leading to an 8D. So things like that are being reported on the right-hand side as issues. And then you have upcoming meetings that are listed on the right-hand side here. This could be like weekly project review meetings, monthly project review meetings, those kinds of activities that are listed right over here. Project risks that are being listed right over here. And at the bottom, you have the V model. So in this case, the person involved in this project is working on a battery pack system, electric battery pack system, and it is showing the different subsystems listed right beneath that. So you can see this is the item in the terms of the functional safety terminology, and you have the elements listed down right below that. Or here's the system and here's the subsystems. And then you have below that, you have the project that is showing the Gantt chart. This can be the functional safety plan. And later when we get to the next part of this, we'll also show you how integrated in an integrated fashion, we can show you the cybersecurity or the ASPICE or the APQP 5-phase plan as well. And then at the bottom, you have the requirements that's showing the voice of the customer that's listed right over here. So this is a very powerful way to get the overall summary. Now, if I'm opening up the dashboard, this is showing that there are 9 projects that the particular person, monitoring the different projects within the organization is involved with. And you can see there are, out of the 9 projects, if I were to pick the functional safety project as an example, you're seeing the different phases within that project that's being listed here. So that's the different phases. You have the concept phase, the general phase, the product development, the system level, software level, and it's giving you a high-level picture of what the overall status of the project is. And then when you narrow down into concept phase, you can see how well the concept phase has been completed. So literally, you can drill down into the details of it and go into all the key pieces of information to see how the project is progressing. Okay. All right.
So, Nikhil, we did this one landing page so that could be one point of truth for the entire design supply chain. When we come back to the design supply chain, we'll come back in here and we can talk more about the linkages between all of this. Anything else you wanted to mention before we go on, Nikhil?
Nope, this is good.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you. So continuing on then, so this is the very first thing we wanted to show. The next item we want to talk about, so just going with this idea of coupling and uncoupled. Currently, or if you're not into functional safety or cybersecurity or ASPICE, this is your current paradigm. Your current paradigm is project management software, folders to store documents, PPT slides for project reviews, and Excel sheets or FMEAs. What I'm just saying now, maybe all of it is not true, but that some of it is true. In fact, till the OEMs came back and insisted that you use a software tool for FMEA, Excel was our biggest competitor. You're talking to yours truly is the person in 1988 that linked process flow, PFEMA, control plan, work instructions, and then a few years later, we linked DFMEA to DVPNR, came up with the characteristics. So what I'm talking about today is not new to how we think. So, and here is a product development team at the system level with a subsystem and a hardware, okay? Hardware team. Hang on one second here. And there's a loose coupling because all of them could design at the same time, just project reviews, their checklists with green, yellow, red. And then there was an APQP and PPAP at the top, and everybody did independent FMEAs. In fact, if you do the AIG 4th edition, there's no linkages between, unlike the AIG VDA. So AIG VDA is part of the new paradigm where everything needs to be coordinated. So here is the idea that you will see when Nikhil presents to you, that you have an overall program management with milestones and dates which are cascaded to the new product development. I'll call it the APQP plan because everybody's new product development follows something called APQP, ASPICE plan, functional safety plan, and the cybersecurity plan. And you have these teams. So what's happening right now is if we're not careful, because the way our methodology is written of uncoupled and the software that you use, everybody is working independently. So what are we talking about? So in this very first one, we're actually going to talk to you about planning, so actually this is more on requirements. So why don't you go ahead and do this, Nikhil? Why don't you go ahead and talk about the planning aspect in the software?
Sure. Okay. So back to the software. you can see here the overall program view that is showing the battery pack listed right over here that has 5 sub-projects listed beneath that. Now, each one of them have a different purpose. One is showing the new product development 5-phase APQP. The second one is showing the safety plan that is more geared towards the functional safety plan content. Then you have a distributor interface agreement or development interface agreement that's geared towards the development with your suppliers. And the fourth one is an ASPICE software project schedule. And the last one is a cybersecurity plan. So as you go into the first one, you can see this one is tracking the overall program in terms of the 5-phase APQP status and where the project is, how much of the phase is being completed, where the deliverables are. So in one single view, you're able to get a high-level status check of how much of the phases are still remaining, what is still pending, and the attached work products are right against the deliverables itself. So each line item, wherever you have deliverables, you're going to be seeing a paperclip icon showing the attachment. And I'll show you a few examples as we get into the next few projects. And I'll go on to the ASPICE project schedule. So here, as you go into the ASPICE project schedule, this is again another example more geared towards just the software part of it and a little bit of the systems development as well. So here, how this view could look like and how the deliverables are listed down. And again, what each of the deliverables are containing the work products, all of them again shown in a one single integrated fashion. And then you also have the cybersecurity plan. So going to the cybersecurity plan, this is where you will have the cybersecurity artifacts that can be attached within the plan. That's been listed right over here. So we have the key phases within the 21434 standard that's been listed right over here. And you have the work products being developed against that. And finally, going to the functional safety plan. So in this view, you're seeing the different phases. So this is the project that I had drilled down earlier when I showed you the overall completion of the project. And we narrowed down into one of the phases. So here again, each phase is listed down here. And then there's the orange line item showing there's a gate review at the end of each of the phases. This is to ensure that the phase activities have been completed before you go on to the next phase and the gate review is successfully marked off. And similarly, against each one of these deliverables, like here, for example, if you go to concept phase, you can go into item definition and you have your functions and requirements. So if I click right over here, and then I can see the input document and the output document. Input document is your working document. Here I'm going into the requirements document and presenting that to you on my screen. So this is showing what the working document looks like. And once the drafting has been completed, it can be sent for review and can be approved, and which becomes a record as the output document. And similarly, you can have other artifacts like the architecture block diagram that's been created. So that's again been associated right into that line item. So you can see the block diagram, each of these artifacts being linked right into the plan itself. So the person tracking the deliverables can see everything in one single place. So you can see all of that. Right. So similarly, for each one of these deliverables, as you can see here, like the HARA or P diagram, impact analysis, interface function metrics, there are many other work products. Each of these can be created inside the tool, and you can link it directly into the plan itself. Therefore, the functional safety manager can track status of completion, even the reviews, the approvals, everything is being tracked in a very systematic manner right over here. And it makes life very easy to have it all integrated in one place. With that, Chad, if you had anything more to add?
So what we're seeing then is the idea of coordination between the new product development, the ASPICE plan, the cybersecurity plan, and the functional safety plan. What do we have? We have common events that can link together, milestones that can link together, and also very powerfully, all the deliverables of this product lifecycle is accessible right here for the team, actually from the landing page that we showed you earlier. So nobody needs to go anywhere, learn many things. They just can come here, click, do their work, attach it for approvals, okay? Now, one of the things we're going to mention later is that you can actually link all the plans for your design supply chain right in this software also. With that said, let us move on. So we are now moving on to the next item that we wanted to share with you, which is the idea of requirements. And as we all know, you do have the ASPICE, where all the stakeholder requirements are from the stakeholder requirements, we identify the system requirements and the software requirements. And I can just tell you, the innovation you will see from Omnex on that is automatically in an automated fashion, going from the stakeholder requirements to the system requirements, and then actually coming up with the software requirements. That is what we're working on in terms of an AI solution. But our software right now allows 3 different flows into the requirements. One is of course, the block diagram with the interfaces automatically populates the requirements. Nikhil, let's just mention that you can say with the DFMEA links, the block diagram and the DFMEA link to the requirements automatically. Change one, it changes the other. Big deal, folks. Second is from the concept phase, from the HARA and the safety concept and the TARA and the cybersecurity concept, you automatically populate also the requirements. The third one is you can do the flow down to your bill of materials or a structure automatically from the software, okay? So 3 things: the concept phase feeding into the RFD integrated with the BOM, and then linked to DFMEA and PFMEA. Why is this important? ASILs and CALs come from the concept phase, and then the DFMEA identifies safety and critical significant requirements, and also the DFMEA needs to know what is an ASIL and what is a CAL. Okay, with that, go ahead, Nikhil.
Okay. All right. So right now I'm on the requirements document for the battery pack system. And we are seeing here a list of stakeholder requirements from which the product functions and requirements have been derived. There's been allocation to the elements that's been conducted, which are the subsystems. So you can see the bill of material on the right-hand side here. So the battery pack is right up at the top, and you have 4 subsystems. There's a battery management system, battery module, mechanical enclosure, module balancing unit. And each of them, again, can then further break down into lower level elements. Like here, you can see this one breaking down all the way down to almost the 7th level under a 32-bit MCU. So literally, you can keep on drilling down to any level that you want. And similarly, each of them having its own list of elements and structure inside it. Next, so when you're doing the item definition, this is being done at the highest level, which is the battery pack in this case. And as you perform the item definition, you're going to list out the functions and the requirements at the item level, and you will have to take it through the HARA analysis, so which is part of the concept phase activities. And as an output from the HARA, you're going to come to the safety goals with the ASIL ratings. So that has been conducted already here. So if I go right over here to the HARA, you can see the HARA has been completed for this particular product. There's been a list of safety goals that has been derived based on, of course, the exposure, the severity, and also the controllability values. And you can go down here. So there are safety goals. So if a same safety goal has, let's say, 2 multiple ASIL rating that it gets, it takes the highest value among the 2. And what happens is from the safety goal derivation, then you go into the functional safety concept. So in the functional safety concept, this is the view where the safety functions and the safety requirements are being allocated to the elements. That is, you can see immediately from the battery pack, you have these 4 elements that is at the lower level. So they have been allocated downstream to those respective elements. Now, also what will happen is because you have these safety functions and safety requirements, the first point that Chad mentioned is concept phase feeding back into the RFD. So this information can then again backtrace its way into the master list of functions and requirements at the same battery pack level. So therefore, your master list of functions and requirements will in fact have that list of all the ASILs that are coming with it. Let me just show that to you. So here you can see functional safety related categorization, and some of them having the ASIL A, some of them having the ASIL B. And then when you're doing integrated development of functional safety along with cybersecurity, you're also going to get CAL ratings, and sometimes we can also use the risk value if you want to use that. That is also possible. So you get the ASIL or the CAL rating that's been listed right over here. And then wherever you have characteristics that are critical, they can also be indicated with a custom indicator if it's like critical or inverted delta, whatever those different notations are. So those can also be used to indicate what those particular important characteristics are. All right. So this happens, and another advantage is this requirements information, whatever we have on the screen, is integrated directly into your DFMEA. So if I go into the DFMEA, so this is the design FMEA. So the design FMEA is going to have, again, the same information right over here. So you can see here at the battery pack level, you have the ASIL ratings, the characteristics, also indicated right next to each other. And at every level in the structure that we're showing you here, this is the bill of material structure. At every level, you have a DFMEA. And similarly, it is going to be integrated with the requirements that exist at each one of those levels. So that's very powerful. So you don't have to, go and manually update 2 different documents, which is again going to bring situations where you will have human error not updating both. So that's pretty powerful. And this information from the DFMEA can also again further feed forward into the DVPNR. So when you go to the DVPNR, which is listed right over here, the DVPNR can also have that same information from the DFMEA, and like the controls, the characteristics, all of those being listed right over here and synchronized with one another. Chad, if you wanted to add anything more to it.
Great. No, I think we did a good job here talking about the linkages between DFMEA that defines characteristics, the automated linkages between, maybe you can show the block diagram and explain how the interfaces populate, Nikhil.
Sure.
So the DFMEA and the block diagram populate the requirements. The requirements populate the DFMEA, and then the the cybersecurity concept and the functional safety concept all then populate back into the requirements also. So the requirements package that you have today is a standalone. We can link to it and bring it all these other features that it needs. Go ahead, Nikhil.
Yes. So what I'm showing you is the block diagram, the static architectural diagram for the battery pack. And it is broken down into the next level of subsystems. And then inside that, you can see the elements inside it. Now, the first list of functions and requirements that you have for the product is, of course, coming in from the master, the item definition it has, the item definition itself containing the functions and the requirements. The second list also that it's going to get it from is from this block diagram, where any lines that you're going to be seeing between these blocks, they serve as the interfaces between these elements. So these lines represents the interface functions and requirements, which then connect into the list of requirements and also into the, therefore forwarded into the DFMEA, etc. So all the way, all the other work products are also integrated. So if you draw the lines here, any interfaces, they flow into the requirements document and from there to the DFMEA and eventually into the DVPNR where it'll get tested to. So again, very powerful. So as an example, if I'm going into the interface function metrics, so you can see here the lines indicated in the green font background, those are the ones that are interface functions and requirements. Those were created by the system as each lines were constructed to show interfaces between the elements inside the block diagram. Okay.
So Nikhil, with that, and of course, our biggest challenge is to do everything in the time allocated. What we'll do, so let me just say that some of which maybe you couldn't show, that we have the cybersecurity, module that we have brought in. And here is the impact rating with the CAL implementation, okay? All of this, of course, can be customer defined. The attack vectors, the attack feasibility, the risk value treatment. Here. And from there, you get the TARA and then the cybersecurity concept, which then feeds into the concept phase. So another huge problem we have is that, and it's hampering work that we are trying to do, is none of these tools, the architecture tool that we showed you, the block diagram, does not link with the requirements tool, does not link with the project management, doesn't link with the TARA and the cybersecurity concept, or the HARA and the cybersecurity concept, or the test plans. So we, by the way, only go up to the test plans and test cases, and from there, of course, with the customer, we can integrate back into a test suite, which we have not done right now. But we can go all the way right to the safety case and the cybersecurity case. And so really, what you're seeing is a tool very much all connected. Nikhil, in the interest of time, maybe you can just show a portion. We only have about 15 minutes left. Maybe you can just show a portion of this video, and then I will ask the audience, to our customers here, to maybe let us know what other connectivities they're looking for.
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nikhil. You can show it on your screen, so you can make some comments, but don't take more than 2-3 minutes, okay?
Yes. So here, what we just wanted to show you is as you construct all of these different work products in the functional safety package, we are going to be showing you that the key part here is we don't have to enter an information that you put into one of the work products into another work product, because it's going to be interlinked. And if you update in one place, it automatically updates the other relevant places. So here, as I'm constructing the functions and the requirements, like this is one of the ways we're going to be showing you how you can do allocation. We mentioned about allocation, how the requirement is being created, and then here the requirement is being allocated to the BMS subsystem. So what's happening is from the battery pack, there's a function A with 2 requirements, and this particular requirement is being allocated to the BMS subsystem. So now when I go into the BMS subsystem and I'm going to be checking out that particular function, there's going to be that traceability that exists, because bidirectional traceability is a big deal in, if you look at ASPICE, functional safety, cybersecurity, all the standards, very big deal about traceability being ensured. So the allocation ensures that you have the same information being created, and then also the traceability is being established right then and there. So that's, I think, the key message I will take. Chad, maybe I think I'll stop it here, and since I know we have a few more important content to cover, so I think we'll go on.
It's actually a very interesting little snippet I put together because it would take just too much time to cover it otherwise. It's the biggest challenge when you're trying to show and talk about all the important things that we have sort of implemented over time. So let's do a second poll. Which integration will benefit your organization and new product development? I'd like to see what you think so far as a part of our work in process. Take 2 questions here on this poll. So what we'll do, Anthony, is Miles is, we'll go ahead and close the poll. And okay, which integration will benefit your organization the most? All of the above is really the winner with 70%. Okay, and which tool did you find most useful for your organization? Integrated planning. Integrated concept phase to requirements. That's good to know, Nikhil. This is what our audience thinks. And thank you very much, folks. That's good to know. All right, next is the design supply chain, where there's a lot of information that needs to flow between the different levels. So you can see here in a front impact airbag, let's say we have the CAN bus and supplier A, the control unit, the initiator, the sensor, and so on, all that comes into the airbag. So any type of bond, you saw the battery management system and how complicated it is. And the issue is, and this is where I don't think the industry has even tackled it, even for the AIG, VDA, DFMEA, where you have this flow down of requirements and the cause and effect between failures and the cause is one level down. And then the flow down of requirements in functional safety, cybersecurity, and ASPICE. And in functional safety and cybersecurity, it flows down as low as it needs to go. How have we decided to tackle it? Who has tackled it? So without a tool, how could we do it? Okay. So what we have done in the software, we already showed you the supplier plans for APQP, ASPICE, FUSA, and Cyber. We didn't show you that, but the supplier plans can be put right into our software. And then you can have a connected from the program all the way to the suppliers. There's a flow down of requirements. I think you saw that, okay? the communication and visibility of the supply chain with that landing page where we said, now all you have to do is click any part of that BOM via that V model, and we'll know who the team is, how to communicate to them, and you can see the assessments, audits, confirmation reviews. We have another tool, that Audit Pro, that we won't be showing you today. Then, of course, you saw the linked DFMEAs and PFMEAs. That is at each level, all the way down, all the way to the semiconductor. If you'd like, you can do it. So the challenges are that the new standards require design to be done in concert with the design supply chain. It's what we call the coupled design. It's also inside your group, between the functional safety, cybersecurity, ASPICE, and overall new product development. And it is also between, so we had, there are parts, depending on if you're an Aptiv or if you are a Borg Warner, there are many components you actually already make. So you have to have that communication and flow down inside the company and then outside your company. And then the idea of functional safety and cybersecurity being done by different silos, linkages and communications, tools and methods are not being connected. So this is the challenge that we have. Okay, I'm just going to, this is something we could not show, but one of the things you can do is a functional safety self-assessment. Because if you look at part 8 and the requirement for the suppliers in the district DIA, you have to do supplier selection needs to include functional safety. So this is some of the things, and you can connect up and you can actually add functional safety or cybersecurity or ASPICE into the configurable dashboard of your suppliers. So we're coming to the tail end, and I'm happy about that in the sense that I don't want to hold you guys too much after the hour. Nikhil, the next part we can talk about is the documentation. Folks, it's important in this integrated process to have documentation, and we'd like to show you a couple of different ways your different groups may want to look at the documentation. With that, Nikhil, please go ahead and share that.
Absolutely. All right. So as you can see on my screen right now, this is a view where right up in the center, we have the ASPICE PAM 3.1 focused view of a process map. So this is showing each of the key processes within the organization that have been deployed. So you have processes like systems engineering, software engineering, you have the acquisition process groups, and all of the other ones. So what we could do is, again, navigate into each one of those specific process areas. Like here, I'm going into the system requirements analysis process group. So this one has the guidelines, the procedures, and associated entity checklists, all of those being linked. And then we could also go into one of the system requirements procedure, and we can see the workflow listed down here with all the information right over there. So this is an example of the ASPICE one. Now with functional safety, here's another view. So this one here, you're seeing the functional safety process map. So again, you can see all the key parts, part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 9 listed down here. And if I'm going into like the HARA, for example, this is going to take me into this one. We have, you can map it as you need, and you can map it to like for a specific product that you're designing. This is the HARA for a specific product that we're looking at, and that's been listed down right over here. So that's the way we have it. And then also you can have your overall QMS. This is like the organization's QMS that can be listed right over here. And then again, you can link specific procedures, guideline documents, forms, checklists, all of those into each one of those blocks as well, representing your process definition.
So Nikhil, I thought it was important that we showed that we have folks who do documentation. They came into the documentation space very new, and just from an ASPICE viewpoint, and they're taking everybody into an ASPICE viewpoint, forgetting there's a QMS there's functional safety, there's cybersecurity, all different models. So it's important for us to show you how you can enter into the documentation of the organization, that the documentation needs to be integrated, and how you can go from a model right to the process, procedure, or work instruction, all linked. Also in the software, we have the ability to do flow charting of all the processes, having standardized templates, and of course, we satisfy all of the QMS or IATF 16949, and it's a clause. What clause is it? 6.6 is it? Requirements for document management.
Yeah.
I could be off by one.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
As much as I used to at one time. So with that, let us go ahead here and try to bring in the final words of this webinar. I still have a few more slides to do. Along with poll 4, which of these EV/AV platform features would be of the highest ROI? What do you think will help your organization the most? Let's take and along with it, we are asking a second question. Would you like to take a closer look at the EV/AV platform? And we'll be happy to do it just for your organization if you'd like, because there's just a tremendous amount of information. Just functional safety will take us like 2 hours to show, and we can work through a complete example, even your company's example. Hope you appreciate what we have accomplished here, because it takes both the knowledge of the standard and then the ability to communicate that to the software folks to get something accomplished, then be able to review it and give them more feedback, okay? Let's close this poll, sir. Okay. All right, so about 70% if you would like to take another look at the EV/AV platform. The integrated tools, requirements, FMEA, test plan, configuration management got the highest vote, followed by access to documentation that you just showed, Nikhil. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Now, let's see how well we did. By the way, this is another big money-saving idea coming from Omnex, okay? That if you have 413 work products from new product development, APQP, to functional safety, to cybersecurity, you can see cybersecurity as the least number of work products, 45. But you can integrate it and do reduced amount of work when you do digitalization, okay? That's a significant, that's part of the strategy we have. All right. So this is the summary. This is our vision. I'd like you to see that we have done our best to show you the one tool that satisfies NPD, ASPICE, functional safety and product cybersecurity. We did not show you this, but we are right now integrated with SAP. We are working on more integration. We integrate with JIRA and a number of other standard tools in the industry. In another couple of months, we'll put the requirements API. That's not the word I was looking for. So we can link with any requirements management tool. You saw us seamlessly move between NPD, ASPICE, functional safety, and cybersecurity. That by clicking the plan, you can go to the deliverables. I'll just say what I don't have here. By clicking the model, you can go to the documentation. We showed you that in the end. That the item definition, HARA, and functional safety concept integrates with the TARA and cybersecurity concept that populates the overall requirements, also the DFMEA. The deliverables of work products are digital. So we populate one field, it populates the other field, reducing the amount of work. The only one we did not have time to share and then we'll be happy to do a webinar specifically for that, is the AI that we are planning to put in for each of these, including each document. So we can right now, if you're interested, if you contact us, we're able to show you a ASPICE OBOT reviewer to a level 1 of processes, okay? So with that, just before we take a few questions, just want to tell you that this is our strategy that we call the 7 levers strategy, that this is what we need to implement and integrate inside our organization, hence the software tool that we developed. These are the different services other than software that we do. We actually do engineering design services. The safe, sustain, and safe, secure, and sustain does assessments and audits and product certification. And of course, we have a number of different training classes, including, by the way, PAM 4.0. I don't see the PAM 4.0 slides that we had, Miles, but you can just see here all the different training courses that we have. And that with that, we have about 5 or 6 questions. And we do have a tool certification, Phil. We'll be happy to send it to you on demand. We actually have a tool certification certificate for functional safety. To send a presentation, as I said earlier, we will send it to you, after we know, what purpose you're asking it from us. We'll be happy to share it with you. And to answer Rich, welcome. I'm happy to see you here in our webinar. And I know you worked many years in FMEAs. Yes, to be able to go from a DFMEA to an assembly process, you need to have multiple links of either multiple DFMEAs to multiple process FMEAs and vice versa. Our software does that. Okay. So we had a question earlier on platforms. Anthony, are you part of the panelists? I don't know if you are, but basically what we have an underlying SQL database and it's .NET in terms of programming. This platform is our platform. We are looking at a very mature package that started out in 2006 or so. Our software came out in 1988, by the way. We are the ones who invented this form of FMEA software. And then after that, we came up with enterprise quality in 2002. A few years later, the idea of integrated management system. And now we're integrating and releasing EV/AV platform that has, the QMS, it has the functional safety, the cybersecurity, and all the different things that we need to integrate. It follows a 7 lever strategy. I think with that, what is the maturity of the software tool? I think, Samson, I just mentioned to you, it's we have, what is the number? How many hundreds of thousands of people using our software, Nikhil? So it's very mature package used by hundreds of organizations worldwide. I actually had, because we invented this FMEA, I did not understand the value of the tool. I've been in the industry, as I told you, for over 40 years. And we came up with the idea of FMEA software in the 1980s. We had thousands of customers. I just did not understand the value of it at that time when we had a monopoly in the industry. But we're very happy. People have learned from us. And yeah, we're happy about that. Happy to educate everyone. All right. Some questions. Is your tool certified? Yes, absolutely. Please contact SLM. We'll be happy to share with you our tool certification. How long is the use learning time? I hope with the single landing page, it is the users will have a very easy. That's what we need to train. We need to train them with the advantage of the ideas that we put into this. We have boiled down all our software into 4 platforms. We have a QMS IMS platform. We have a supplier management platform. We have a new product development platform if you just want to do uncoupled new product development. And then we have the EV/AV platform for the coupled. Okay. Complete fulfill parts inside your tool. It depends on, it's too vague, Salim, right now. 3 to 5 advantages of your tool. I think you saw that. Contact us, we'll talk to you more. I hope it's very obvious. It's the integration. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, when I started, I was a young man. I had no women in my audience, and that's how long, in terms of, when I started, one of the jobs I had was foreman, I was a manufacturing foreman in General Motors, assembly foreman also. So it's, I feel like I'm the last of a dying breed in the industry. I could tell you so many stories about working with the UAW. I started when I was 17 years old. Okay, I went to a co-op called General Motors Institute. All right, so we will email you, Salim. We will email you all the training that we have. We have very comprehensive training, mostly developed and provided by the people who wrote the standard. We take great pride in that the people who train have to have lots of experience. We don't want a trainer who can just train. They need to know the subject matter. And that's what I'll tell you about the software. The software was not done by software people. It was done by a company who was a subject matter expert. I hope you appreciate that. All right. With that, folks, thank you very much for being with us. And we hope to see you. We'll continue talking to you for those of you who want to see more of the software. And if you want us to email you the presentation, do email us. And thank you all very much. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, Nikhil.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for everyone helping us host this. Thank you, Mega, Mike, Miles. Bye, everyone.